Let's talk about adding and subtracting fractions, shall we? Adding and subtracting fractions can be difficult, but I got a couple tips for you. Something to make it easier for you. You ready? Adding and subtracting fractions, all you have to do is this. Look at the x that I draw. It's kind of like you're multiplying everything, okay? Now I know it's addition, but you're going to multiply. What do I mean? First you start with the bottom, the denominator of the first fraction, and you go up and multiply this way. All right? 5 times 3 equals what? You guessed it, 15. Then we're going to go and do the other direction, up from the bottom of the other fraction to the top. 4 times 2. What is 4 times 2? Of course, 8. Oops, sorry, wrong color. Let me change that up. There we go, 8. And then what you do is you multiply, my goodness, the bottom. 5 times 4. And that gives you, what is 5 times 4? 20. Now we just gotta basically add across the top and leave the bottom the way it is. So it's 20, and 8 plus 15 is 23. The answer is 23 over 20. All right, subtraction works the same exact way, nothing different. Again, what we do, start from the bottom of the first one, multiply up. What does that give us? 9 times 2, you guessed it, is 18. Then we have multiplying from the bottom of the other fraction. 7 times 3, 21. Excuse me, I keep forgetting to change the color. I apologize. 21. Got it. And I'll put a minus sign just to begin with. And then we have 9 times 3 at the bottom, which gives us what? 27. 9 times 3, of course we know, is 27. All right, take a second to think about what I just did in both scenarios. And now we come up with the answer. What is 21 minus 18? 21 minus 18 is 3. 3 over 27 we have here. And if you want to reduce, because you should reduce every answer you do in math, 3 over 27 means 3 can be divided by itself, and 3 can also go into 27. You're going to divide the top and the bottom of a fraction by the same number. That's how you reduce fractions. So divide by 3, and you get the final result. 1 and 27 divided by 3 is 9. 1/9 is your final answer. Okay, now we got some practice problems to do. As always, pause the video, see if you can get these answers both yourself, and then press play again so I can do the answers with you. You ready? All right, pause if you can. Okay, here's the answers. So, again, we start at the bottom here and go up this way and multiply. I'm going to put both arrows this time so that we can just go ahead and do the first and then do the second. So here we go. We have 7 times 3, which is 21 over here. And we have 8 times 2, which is 16. And I'm going to put a plus sign right there. 7 times 8, which is at the bottom, is 56 because I multiplied these two numbers. Yep. So 16 plus 21 gives us 37. And then you have 56 at the bottom. And as we know, 37 is prime. You cannot reduce that. Anytime the top number of a fraction or the bottom number is a prime number, it cannot be reduced. That's the simplest form that that fraction can possibly be in. Okay, let's do subtraction at the bottom now since the top is done. Here we go. So we do 10 times 3, and we do 9 times 7. Let's see what that gives us. 10 times 3, of course, is 30. And 9 times 7 is 63. I'll put the minus sign because this is a minus problem. And then 10 times 7 is 70. So to get the final answer, we do 63 minus 30 which gives us 33. And then, of course, the bottom is 70. Once again, this cannot be reduced because there is no number that can be both divided into 33 and into 70 evenly. So, again, we are done with this problem. Folks, this is how you add and subtract fractions the easy way. Just in case you need to know this, because we have two answers that couldn't be reduced, but in the first example, there was an answer that can be reduced. I want to go over reducing fractions, because when you guys add and subtract fractions or multiply and divide, your teacher's probably going to want you to know how to reduce them if they're reducible. So I have two fractions here that we can think of, 6 over 8 and 24 over 54. Now, there's many ways these come, but I'm just going to show you how to do these two ways. First of all, when a fraction is reducible, all you got to do is look at the top and the bottom of the fraction, let's try 6/8, and think, what number can be divided into both 6 and 8? Well, 6 and 8 are both part of the 2 times tables. So we're able to divide both of them by 2. So I'm going to do 6 divided by 2 and 8 divided by 2. What does that give me? Well, we have 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. 6/8 can be reduced to 3/4. Let's try 24 over to 54. Now, this means that you're going to have to know your multiplication tables well, but let's not even get into that. Knowing your multiplication tables at this level of algebra is essential. And if you don't know them, I have a website for you to go to try it. But anyway, let's first finish this. 24 over 54. What can go into 24 and 54? Well, if we know our times tables, 24 and 54 are both part of the 6 times tables. So they both can be divided by 6. So we do 24 divided by 6. What does that give us? It gives us 4. And then 54 divided by 6 is 9. The final product is 4 over 9, just like the finished product up here is 3 over 4. This is how you reduce fractions, by finding a number that can be divided into the top and the bottom of the fraction without any remainders. All right, y'all. Happy mathing. Now that we got that hard stuff out the way, what'd you say? It wasn't that hard? I told you. These tips and tricks I'm giving you is going to make all the difficult parts of math easy. So let's go to something really easy now. Multiplying and dividing fractions. The easiest way to do fractions.